You feel it in your chest when they finally say the words, "I'm sorry." The air shifts. Your body wants to believe them, wants to soften, wants to let the tension dissolve because holding it is exhausting and hope is easier than vigilance. But something doesn't land. The words are there. The tone might even sound right. But somewhere beneath your ribs, in a place that knows before your mind does, there's a whisper of warning. Because this has happened before. They hurt you. You pulled away. They sensed the distance. And then, like clockwork, came the apology. Just enough contrition to draw you back in. Just enough humility to make you doubt your anger. And it worked. You returned. You softened. You gave them another chance. Until they hurt you again. Here's what you haven't been able to name. You are not in a cycle of conflict and resolution. You are in a game. And the apology is not an admission of wrongdoing. It is a transaction. A calculated move in a pattern so deeply embedded, you cannot see its walls. The manipulator does not apologize to change. They apologize to reset the board, to restore access, to reclaim the position of power they briefly lost when you recognize the harm. Their remorse is not emotional, it is strategic. In 1964, psychiatrist Eric Berne published Games People Play, the foundational text of transactional analysis. Berne revealed that much of human interaction is not straightforward communication, but a series of psychological games, unconscious, repetitive patterns where people manipulate each other for hidden payoffs. He wrote, "The game must progress as it has always done before. And the apology, in the hands of a manipulator, is one of the most elegant moves in the entire game. In the next 20 minutes, we will not learn to forgive faster or hold grudges longer. We will learn to see the game. We will expose the 4 levels of a manipulator's apology, from the crude to the nearly undetectable. We will understand the psychological architecture beneath the words. And by the end, you will never mistake a strategic transaction for genuine remorse again." Let's begin. To understand why a manipulator's apology is never real, you must first understand the foundation of transactional analysis. Every human interaction is a transaction. One person offers a stimulus, the other responds. On the surface, these are just conversations. Beneath, they are power exchanges, bids for control, recognition, and positioning. Berne identified 3 ego states within every person: the parent, the adult, and the child. The parent is your internalized authority, the voice of rules, judgment, and control. The adult is your rational observer, the part of you that sees reality without distortion. The child is your emotional core, the part of you that feels, needs, and reacts. In a healthy transaction, adult speaks to adult. Reality is acknowledged. Responsibility is shared. But in a game, the transaction has a hidden agenda. The manipulator speaks from one ego state while secretly operating from another. They say, "I'm sorry," from what sounds like the adult, but they are actually speaking from the parent, asserting authority, or the child, demanding absolution. And here is the trap. You are conditioned to accept the words at face value. Society teaches you that an apology is an apology, that saying "I'm sorry" is the end of conflict, the resolution of harm. But the manipulator knows something you are only now beginning to see. Words without transformation are just noise. An apology without accountability, without change, without cost to the apologizer is not remorse. It is theft. They are stealing your forgiveness without earning it. Now, let's map the 4 levels. The first level is the crudest, the most transparent. It barely pretends to be an apology at all. You hear it in the construction. "I'm sorry you feel that way." Or, "I'm sorry if I hurt you." Or, "I'm sorry, but you have to understand." Notice what's missing: ownership. The manipulator is not apologizing for what they did. They are apologizing for your reaction. They are sorry that you are upset, not that they caused the upset. This is the parent ego state speaking to the child ego state. They are positioning themselves as the rational adult, and you as the overly sensitive, emotional responder. The hidden message: your feelings are the problem here, not my behavior. In transactional analysis, this is called a discount. They are discounting the reality of their action by shifting focus to your perception. And here's the mechanism that makes it effective. You start to doubt yourself. Maybe you are overreacting. Maybe they didn't mean it the way you took it. Maybe you're too sensitive, too demanding, too unforgiving. This is the game. They deflect accountability, and you absorb the blame. The non-apology does not repair harm. It inverts it. Now you are the one who needs to apologize for making them apologize. But you feel it, don't you? That hollow echo where remorse should be. The adult part of you knows. This is not an apology. This is a dismissal. And if you accept it, you have just trained them that deflection works. The second level is more sophisticated. It sounds closer to real remorse, but it comes with a clause. "I'm sorry I yelled, but you were pushing my buttons. I'm sorry I lied, but I didn't think you'd understand. I'm sorry I hurt you, but you hurt me first." The structure is always the same. Apology, then justification. I acknowledge the harm, but here's why it was inevitable. This is the parent ego state again, but now it wears the mask of fairness. It says, "I am being reasonable. I am taking responsibility." But let's be honest about who started this. The conditional apology is a transaction with strings attached. You are not receiving remorse. You are receiving a negotiation. They are saying, "I will take 30% of the blame if you take 70%. And because you are exhausted, because you want peace, because you are conditioned to meet people halfway, you agree. But here is the truth you must see. Genuine remorse does not come with conditions. When someone truly understands the harm they caused, they do not need to contextualize it. They do not need to explain why you deserved it, or why it was understandable, or why your actions provoked theirs. They simply say, "I did this. It was wrong. I am accountable." The conditional apology keeps the game alive. It ensures that no one is ever fully responsible, which means no one ever has to fully change. You walk away from these exchanges feeling confused, like you got an apology, but you're still carrying the weight. That's because you are. They handed you half their guilt and kept their power. And the game continues. The third level is where most people get trapped, because it sounds like accountability. It sounds like change. "I'm sorry. I'll do better. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. I'm sorry. I'm working on myself." Notice the structure. The apology is real, but it is immediately redirected toward the future. No time is spent on the present harm. No space is given to the pain they caused. The focus is on the promise of improvement, on the version of themselves they will become, on the narrative of redemption. This is the child ego state speaking to your parent ego state. They are the remorseful child seeking forgiveness, and you are the authority figure who grants it. And it works because we are wired to believe in potential. We want to believe people can change. We want to reward effort. We want to see growth. But here is the mechanism of the trap. The future-focused apology erases the past. By immediately pivoting to "I'll do better," they skip the most critical part of a real apology, sitting with the harm they caused. Genuine remorse requires presence. It requires looking at what you did, feeling the weight of it, acknowledging the specific pain you inflicted. But the manipulator cannot afford to do that, because if they truly sat with the harm, they would have to confront the pattern. They would have to see that this is not an isolated mistake. This is a recurring game. So they leap over the present and into the future. They make promises. They offer visions of who they will be. And you, because you are hopeful, because you are kind, because you are tired of fighting, accept the promise as if it were action. But promises cost nothing. Change costs everything. And the future-focused apology lets them avoid the cost. You will know you have received this apology when you feel appeased but not repaired, when your anger dissolves but your trust does not return. Because deep down, your adult knows. They have not changed. They have only bought time. Now we arrive at the most dangerous level, the one that almost no one sees, the empathic performance. This is the apology that sounds perfect. It has all the right words. It acknowledges your pain. It takes responsibility. It even names the specific harm. I see how much I hurt you. I understand why you're angry. What I did was wrong, and I take full responsibility. Your body responds. The words land. You feel seen. You feel heard. And this is the trap. Because the empathic performance is not remorse, it is mirroring. The manipulator has learned the language of emotional intelligence. They have studied what a real apology sounds like, and they are performing it to achieve the same outcome they have always sought: control. In transactional analysis, this is the most sophisticated game. It is adult speaking to adult, but the hidden transaction is parent controlling child. They are using the appearance of equality to restore their dominance. The key distinction: a real apology is uncomfortable for the apologizer. A performance is comfortable. When someone truly feels remorse, they stumble. They struggle to find the right words. There is tension in their body because they are holding the weight of what they did. But the empathic performance is smooth. It is rehearsed. It flows too easily. They know what you need to hear, and they deliver it flawlessly. How do you spot this? Watch what happens after the apology. Does their behavior change? Or do they return to the same patterns within days, weeks, or months? Do they show discomfort with their own actions? Or do they move on quickly, unburdened? The empathic performance is the apology that sounds like the end of the game, but it is actually the most refined move within it. They have learned that the words matter, so they give you the words. But the game remains. So what does a real apology look like? Let's be precise. A genuine apology has 4 elements, and all 4 must be present. 1. Specific acknowledgement of harm. Not, "I'm sorry, I hurt you," but "I'm sorry I dismissed your feelings when you tried to tell me you were struggling. that was wrong. The harm is named, not vaguely, specifically. 2. Ownership without justification. Not, I'm sorry, but I was stressed. But, I did this. I am responsible. There is no excuse. No deflection, no conditions, full accountability. 3. Understanding of impact. Not, I didn't mean to hurt you. But, I see that my actions made you feel unimportant and dismissed. I understand why you would pull away. They demonstrate that they comprehend the pain they caused. This is not performative. This is empathy. 4. Behavioral change. Not, I'll try to do better, but concrete, visible, sustained change over time. Different actions, different patterns, evidence that the apology was real. A real apology is costly. It requires humility. It requires sitting with shame. It requires changing behavior, which is the hardest work a human being can do. The manipulator will never pay this cost, because for them, the apology is not about repair. It is about transaction. They apologize to regain what they lost when you pulled away: access, control, and supply. And if the apology achieves that, they have no reason to change. The game has worked again. Now you know the 4 levels. But knowledge alone is not enough. You must learn to see the game in real time. Here are the markers. Marker 1, repetition. If you have heard this apology before, and the behavior has not changed, you are not receiving remorse. You are receiving reset. The manipulator is not trying to repair the relationship. They are trying to restart the cycle. Marker 2, urgency. A real apology can wait. The person offering it is willing to give you space, to let you process, to earn your trust back slowly. A manipulative apology cannot wait. There is pressure. There is urgency. They need you to forgive now because their discomfort with consequences is unbearable. Marker 3, your doubt. If you walk away from an apology feeling confused, feeling like something is missing, feeling guilty for not fully accepting it, trust that feeling. Your adult knows the difference between remorse and performance. Your body knows the difference between safety and strategy. Do not override your instincts with your hope. Marker 4, the absence of cost. A real apology costs the apologizer something: time, comfort, pride, behavioral change. A manipulative apology costs them nothing. Just words, just performance, just the momentary discomfort of saying what you need to hear. Watch for the cost. If there is none, the apology is hollow. Here is what you must understand. The manipulator's apology is not a failure of communication. It is a success of strategy. They are not trying to reconnect with you as equals. They are trying to restore the game. And the game only works if you do not see it. So see it. See the non-apology that shifts the blame to your sensitivity. See the conditional apology that justifies the harm. See the future-focused apology that erases the present. See the empathic performance that mimics remorse without embodying it. And when you see these patterns, do not question your perception. You are not demanding too much by expecting a real apology. You are demanding the bare minimum: accountability, change, and respect. If someone cannot offer that, they are not apologizing. They are playing. And the only way to win the game is to stop playing. You do not owe forgiveness to someone who has not earned it. You do not owe reconciliation to someone who has not changed. You do not owe your trust to someone who treats it as a transaction. The real apology will cost them something. If it costs you more than it costs them, it was never real. Now you know. Now you see. Walk away from the game.